Welcome back, everybody. Parker Stevenson here, CEO of Evolve Finance and author of the book Profit Pillars. I'm very excited to do pretty much like what I would call our welcome back episode. We have a lot of episodes mapped out and ready to deliver to you. If you are someone who listened to the old version of the podcast, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. If you are a new listener who's somehow finding us in all the magic ways that the internet brings people to podcasts, welcome. In today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing with this podcast, why we changed the name and rebranded the podcast, and what you can expect from this show going forward. It's not going to be a very long episode, but I felt like it would be weird if we just started pumping out podcast episodes again if I didn't do this episode first to kind of catch y'all up on what the heck has been going on. So let's start here because there's a lot to talk about. The first thing is, we used to have a podcast called The Bottom Line by Evolve Finance. We did that for a number of years. And we even have episodes going back before we even really had a name for the show. I can't remember what we called the podcast before it was The Bottom Line by Evolve Finance. But we took a break. It's been about a year since we've published a new episode. The reason for that is I launched a book. This isn't a book just for myself. This is a book that Corey, my business partner, who's also our founder and managing partner at Evolve Finance, we decided this is a marketing play for Evolve Finance, our firm. So this wasn't like a side project for me. This is something I did for Evolve Finance. And writing a book is a lot of work. A lot of our clients have written books, and if you're listening to this and kind of in the online space or have a modern small business, you may have even written a book as well, and you know how much work goes into doing that. So Whitney, our client engagement manager, and I sort of decided, hey, trying to continue to do the podcast while we're also trying to get this book not only written but launched was just going to be too much. And one of the things I talk to our clients about all the time at Evolve Finance is you can't do everything all at the same time. And so what we had to decide was the podcast is great. I love doing it, but it was a secondary priority to giving me the time to write the book. And then for Whitney and myself to launch the book, we had an awesome financial wellness summit that we did. We worked with a marketing agency to run ads and just get the book out into the world, which is a lot, especially when I was already running an accounting firm with my business partner, Corey. So the book is out. There are physical copies in the world. People are reading it. They have it. It blows my mind. The book's called Profit Pillars, a proven system to maximize the bottom line in your online business. And I couldn't be prouder of this book. It is essentially everything I've learned over the last decade, learning how to do bookkeeping and accounting for small businesses and online businesses, but also advising, coaching, and working directly with these business owners to build more profitable businesses, to make more profitable decisions, to run more financially sound companies. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. I love teaching, I love talking, and I love being an advisor to other smart, talented business owners. And we've been so fortunate over, today is literally my 11 years with Evolve Finance. The day that I am recording this, it's 11 years, August 1st. And it's just been such a privilege to get to work with some of the most well-known and successful online business owners in the industry. And this book, Profit Pillars, is my opportunity to share everything that I've been teaching our clients for over a decade now. So this podcast is rebranded then, called The Profit Pillars Show, because number one, we're trying to get the word out about this book. I think this is a book that could be a foundational read for anyone with an online business or a modern small business. Just like there's all these other classic marketing books, sales books, ops books. And I know there's like Profit First out there. That's kind of really the only finance book out there for small business owners. So I want Profit Pillars to be a book every small business owner has read, knows about, and hopefully is using what I talk about in the book in their own businesses. So we figured, hey, let's call the podcast the Profit Pillars Show. Ultimately, our past podcast was me teaching, talking, sharing information, doing so usually within 30 minutes. If we did interviews with other business owners, then that would sometimes be a longer episode. But at this point, there's a ton of business podcasts out there that do interviews. A lot of our clients are people that have done a lot of those podcast episodes. Those are the same people I would probably be interviewing as well. Maybe down the road, we do that sporadically, but for now, I have plans for every one of these episodes to answer a question that I know business owners are asking themselves about the financial side of their businesses, the accounting side of their businesses, the operations side of their businesses, and even overarching strategies. Because the one thing I've had the benefit of doing over the last decade is watching our clients make moves, make adjustments, put strategies into place in their businesses and see if they work or not. And then as a business owner as well, we're also trying to make moves and make plays. Some of them work, some of them don't. Those are things I want to share about on this podcast as well. My goal here is as little fluff as possible. I want to get to the point in these podcasts as quickly as possible, get to the teachings, because I know for me, if I want to be entertained by a podcast and listen to something for the joy and fun of it, like I love comedy podcasts, I can listen to comedians talk for hours. But when it comes to business knowledge, I want to learn it as quickly as humanly possible. And I feel the same way about business books. I don't want fluff in my business books. Teach me what you want to teach me as quickly as possible. I took that approach with Profit Pillars. I actually could have written a lot more chapters, but I felt like this is going to be too much. Let's focus on the meat and potatoes here, and maybe one day I'll write a book on all the other stuff I didn't include in Profit Pillars. But I feel the same way about when I read a business book. I want to get to the point fast. I feel the same way about business podcasts, and that's what you can expect from us on the Profit Pillars Show. We're going to be pushing for weekly episodes for most of the year. Again, we're human beings. I'm running a business. I got a family. We will probably have some weeks off, things like that. But our goal is to not. We have so many. I'm literally going to be looking at my spreadsheet for each one of these episodes. It's kind of my outline for all the things that I want to talk about for each episode. And we already have like 100 episodes ready to go. Topics, questions, things I know business owners are curious about, not because ChatGPT told me, but because I've literally been talking with hundreds, if not thousands of online business owners for the last decade, and I know what it's like to run a business myself. So that's what you can expect from the show going forward. In terms of sponsorships or what's keeping the show moving, it's Evolve Finance. It's our book, Profit Pillars. We don't really have plans of adding ads to the show. I don't really have plans of this show ever becoming a massive business podcast. That's not the goal of this. The goal of this podcast is, number one, to help us promote Evolve Finance and our book, Profit Pillars. And hopefully those of you that really enjoy the podcast, that gain value from it, that learn from this show, you'll be interested in our services, in the book, or even in some of our financial tools that we sell on our website. And maybe you'll share that with the people in your network. However it works out for you is fine by me. But the second goal of this episode is of this podcast and the show as a whole, is to help the people that find us, that where the internet somehow connects you with this show, that when you listen to an episode, you go, dang, that was super helpful. It was super valuable. I'm not interested in having a show where the only thing we're doing is trying to sell you on what we're doing, or try to sell you on a guest and what they sell. Ultimately, for us at Evolve Finance, we have two values that I think are really relevant to you as a listener. I think it's important for you to understand. One of our values at Evolve Finance is financial inclusivity. historically, good financial information had paywalls. You had to work with an expensive accountant or advisor or consultant to get some of this information. And we think that sucks, especially because the internet has opened up entrepreneurship to a wide world of people who historically would not have had access to entrepreneurship. And so we want to continue to drive that value or live by that value, financial inclusivity ourselves. And part of the way we want to do that is by having an affordable way to gain this information in my book, Profit Pillars, or a free way to gain this information by just subscribing to our YouTube channel or the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to get this show. But also honesty. We want to be honest about what it takes to run a business. And we want to share, I guess, our truth, as cheesy as that sounds, but we've seen so much. I've seen so much given the work I do with our clients. And we're just big believers that if business owners have access to better business advisory and business information, they're going to run more successful businesses. And that's something we really want with this show. Between the show and the book, we want every business owner to gain the financial knowledge they need in order to run more profitable businesses and to have a better chance of being successful. Selfishly, if you're successful and you trust me and you love this show, you're probably going to reach out to us at Evolve Finance and check out our bookkeeping and tax services, which is great. But if you never reach out to us, never buy anything from us, and all you do is become a smarter, better business owner because of this podcast, awesome, great, chef's kiss. That at a minimum will make me feel good about the time, effort, and money we put in to making this show and continuing to put good, not just financial information and accounting information around businesses out onto the internet, but just good business guidance and advice. Because as I think you'll learn as you listen to this podcast over the coming weeks, months, years, is that every decision you make is a financial decision, and all of your operational strategies, marketing, sales strategies, they all tie back to your numbers. If you know your numbers, your strategies are going to be a lot better. Your operations is going to be a lot better. And at the end of the day, we want businesses that are profitable, that make money. If we're not making money, we're not going to be able to serve more customers and help more people with the things that all of our businesses do for the world. So that's all I got for you for this episode. It's so good to be back. It's so good to have this podcast going, being in your ears, being on YouTube again. Again, we're not trying to become the biggest podcast in the world. We just want to help the people that find us and be your maybe secret weapon, your secret advisor that's helping you traverse this wild world of entrepreneurship, whether you're an online business or a modern small business. So I'm looking forward to sharing more with you all. Thanks for finding us. Thanks for checking out the show, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.